Darth Vader is arguably one of the most exciting characters in the Star Wars franchise. Not only does he have the trademark villain origin story that most villains have, but Vader has complexities in his personality that make him more than a little relatable. However, it isn't all bad. Darth Vader is one of the most resilient, driven, and dedicated individuals in the Star Wars universe. Vader's power is far greater than it ever was when he was Anakin. Even after Reconstruction, he retained all his Jedi training and continued to relentlessly hone his skills to become one of the most powerful individuals in the entire galaxy. But just how powerful is the Sith Lord? And how does he hold up against other Jedis and Sith Lords? Let's find out. Now let's see how powerful Darth Vader really is. Firstly and foremost, the last time Obi-Wan and Vader fought each other in The Revenge of the Sith, Darth Vader didn't have his iconic armor yet. In fact, the only reason Vader has armor is because Obi-Wan cut off his legs when Vader attacked him at the end of the Battle of Mustafar and left him a crispy mess in the volcano fields. What did Vader learn from this? Listen to someone when they say they have the high ground, and don't say they're underestimating your power.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You underestimate my power!
Don't try it!
In any case, when Sidious found him, he put him in a medical capsule and then had droids give him cybernetic limbs and his new iconic suit of armor. This suit also keeps Vader alive, acting as a mobile life support system. With the loss of Vader's limbs, he was forced to start from square one. His knowledge of the Force was vast and wide. However, his body was limited. This would force him to meditate harder on his abilities and powers in order to overcome his handicap, thus increasing his overall knowledge of the Force. Now, let's move on to his suit. In Legends, the suit is designed by the Emperor to be uncomfortable and painful, causing Vader to be in constant state of torment and rage. This allows him to channel more power from his agitated state. Here's a quote from the novels explaining how Vader in the suit was now more powerful than before. The armor separated him from the galaxy, from everyone, made him singular, freed him from the needs of the flesh, the concerns of the body that once had plagued him, and allowed him to focus solely on his relationship to the Force. So, as we can see, not only did the suit act kind of like a shield, but it also helped him tie his strengths to the Force much stronger. We also must note that Vader did lose everything. This caused eternal suffering, which, as we know, fuels the dark side stronger. I'm also going to add one last piece from a Legends comic. It was a duel between him and Darth Maul, where he pierces himself through the abdomen to kill Darth Maul behind him. When asked by the dying Maul what he hated enough to be able to destroy him and summon more dark side powers, Vader replies, "Myself." This shows Vader's character and psyche as completely self-loathing, which means he literally will stop at nothing as pain itself fuels him more for what he did to Padme. Vader possesses a somewhat Hulk-like complex where the more pain he receives, the angrier and therefore the more powerful he becomes. He would eventually reach a point of hatred and pain so deep that his lost limbs would not even be a hindrance to the Force connection, which could potentially lead him to beat Jedis like Mace Windu and Obi-Wan or Siths like Palpatine. Now, of course, as far as actual powers go, we have to start with Vader's most iconic move, and that, of course, is his Force choke. The first time we ever saw it on screen, but takes place later chronologically in the Star Wars timeline, is when he uses the Force choke in A New Hope to choke Admiral Motti while delivering the iconic line,
"I find your lack of faith disturbing."
Vader also used the Force choke on Director Krennic in Rogue One, as well as several other rebels at the end of Rogue One in the epic Vader's Rage scene when he's boarding a rebellion ship. Well, there's one instance in particular that demonstrates just how crazy powerful Vader is with his Force choke. It takes place during The Empire Strikes Back. We see Vader talking to Admiral Ozzel via the equivalent of a Zoom call. Vader starts Force choking him to death for his incompetence, and then makes Captain Piet the new Admiral right after killing Ozzel, all while sitting super chill in his meditation chamber. So, if you don't already understand why that is absolutely insane, let's break it down. Vader force choked and killed someone just by thinking about it over a Zoom call. He was nowhere in the vicinity of Admiral Ozzel and killed him by his mastery of force in telekinesis. Do you understand what that means? That means, theoretically, Vader can kill you from wherever the heck you are just by thinking about it. Obviously, if he did that all the time, there would be no story, as he would just do that to all his enemies. But again, this one scene theoretically proves he's capable of that. As for Force pull, the Sith Lord has used it to do things like pull a starship towards him. Basically, Vader's mastery of the Force gives him almost countless abilities. Another being creating a Force barrier. It's essentially an invisible Force shield, which he could use to block himself from such things as flamethrowers, or even protect himself from being submerged into lava. Another one of Darth Vader's coolest abilities is that he's able to throw his lightsaber at people and it returns to him like a boomerang. It is extremely deadly, and something we see him use in Battlefront 2, as well as Return of the Jedi when he throws his lightsaber at Luke during the film's climax. Now, I can go on listing all the incredible feats that Vader has done over the years in films, comics, and TV, but I feel like you get the point. One of his lesser used abilities is his telekinesis. What sets Vader apart from other users of the Force is that he could utilize telekinesis without the use of his hands, sometimes throwing objects using only his mind, as exhibited during his fight with Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back. He even manages to bury Obi-Wan in a mound of rubble in the final episode of the Obi-Wan series. This showcases Vader's immense power, as he was able to throw objects at Obi-Wan while engaging in a lightsaber duel. If there is one thing we can understand from this, it's that Vader can do almost anything with his mastery of the Force, and is incredibly strong and hard to kill. By tapping into the dark side of the Force and using the protection and enhancement of his life support suit, he rivals the most powerful Force wielders in the galaxy. All these examples of Vader's strength and power should give you a very solid understanding of just how powerful the most famous Sith in the galaxy really is. Let us know what some of your favorite Darth Vader feats are in the comment section below, as well as what you're hoping to see him do in the future. We post death battles every week, with occasional power rankings like this thrown in. If that's something you think you find interesting, be sure to subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.